Welcome to Insight Builder channel, large language model automators, Python experts, and my dear friends. Your private GPT on cloud with Modal, integrating VertexAI Chroma index in Modal Cloud. We are going to see private GPT and Langchain Q&A, that is Chroma index implementation in this video. So the challenge solved. There are two challenges we are going to attack in this particular single video. You might be wondering, Kamal, this particular title page is talking about 5 different topics. It is talking about private GPT. It is talking about Vertex AI. It is talking about creating Langchain Q&A inside Modal, and all these things we are going to cover it in single video. So why am I cramming all these things in a single video? The reason is because all has a common denominator, and the common denominator is Modal. And you will see that once I show you the code, why it is that simple. Because what happens is once you understand the frameworks like Langchain, Modal framework, the concepts of private GPT, how that model is running, how GPT for all model is already available in the cloud. If you guys understand that, bringing all that understanding into the Modal cloud is actually simple. So what is happening here is I will be sharing you all the necessary information in this video. So you don't need to think that I will be just glossing over the details. I will be providing you the details. Only thing is I want you to take to the next level of showing you how to practice, because once you put yourself in a situation where you have to achieve something which is really complex here, it's not complicated, actually it's complex, because you have to make multiple things to work together. What is happening in this case of in this particular video is most of the things that I'm going to do it in the cloud has been completely abstracted by Modal. I don't need to worry about allocating instances or connecting to the instances, doing networking. None of these things are going to be my headache. All I need to understand is that where is my model, how am I going to bring the model into the Langchain or Python ecosystem, Python execution system, and then how am I going to query it. So let me give you an example how it works. So let us go to the terminal, and you see that here I've already tested. So okay, so I have just changed the color of the background so that it will be visible for you guys. So I'm going to run the Modal underscore private GPT.py. This particular code is already available. So before I run this code, let me run this code and then I will show it to you. So I'm going to say Modal run, and I'm going to run the script. I'm going to give the query as this is let me actually include this good day for. Let me include this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press enter right now, and I'm connected to the internet. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm already connected to the internet, and this is going to connect with Modal cloud, and it is going to deploy the private GPT model inside the Modal cloud, and then it is going to run this particular query inside that model, and it is going to give me the reply. So the application has started. It is building the container here. So the function is getting built, and now you will see that you see this particular model is getting loaded. This particular model, you see this groovy.bin is getting loaded, and once it is getting loaded, you will see that it will take a bit of a time, not much. So this is one of the things. When I was showing the things in Colab, it was taking a lot of time, and you see the output. So this is the output that is getting generated, and you will see that the application will complete in a second, and it will actually give you the final output. So okay, let us go up here. So this is a good day for. This is the actual prompt for business. I think it has been a very well organized, and we have managed to cover all important topics in our conversation. I mean, think about it. I'm talking about business now. So you see, and also it is giving a lot of different information, and here you see it is moving. It is talking about something related to business, and then it is slowly moving into Python. You might be wondering that how it is able to give such an output. So this is the power of private GPT. Okay, so this is something that I'll be explaining, and this private GPT has been created by I Martinez. I'll be sharing the GitHub repo of that particular developer also. This is already available. So only thing is that I'm doing it. This particular code this code did not run in my local machine, and my local machine is not having that much resource. It's a very old laptop that I am right now making this video and sharing it to you. So I wanted something that is running in the cloud. I wanted it to be very simple, and Modal was one of the best solutions that I came across. So this is one of the examples. This is PrivateGPT, and now here I am going to show you the second example. The second example is modal_langchain.py, and this particular code has VertexAI large language model, and it has chroma database, vector database, and the chroma database that I am talking about will also be shared with you guys. So the same database, I had used it in the earlier videos, so you can use that also. I will be showing you those details in a couple of minutes, so just bear with me, and let us ask a different question. So what is an agent, and how many types are there? Okay, let me make a spelling mistake also. So instead of THERE, I'm going to say THER, and let us see what kind of output comes. So now the model in this particular code, what is happening is I will be introducing a couple of modal related concepts also. The particular chroma database that I'm talking about is available in my local machine. It is not inside the cloud. Again, I'm repeating this query. So you see the output has been generated here. So here generating doc search. So it is creating the indexer, and it is selecting the parts of the text, and it is running the query, and then the answer. There are two main types of agents, sequential agent and random agent, and the app has been completed. And you see the sources is from content.agents.pdf. This is what is going to be the final outcome, and all this is happening. So all this code that got executed was done inside Modal, and you'll be seeing that now that I've shown you the demo of what is going to happen, now let us jump into the PDF again. So here you might be thinking, it looks all well and good, Kamal. What are we going to learn, and what are the things that we will be coming across in this video? So what we will be doing is there are certain important concepts in Modal that I will be touching. That is like creating custom images, or creating images that involves file sharing between the local as well as the cloud interface. That is the first thing. So share the existing chroma database and the credentials. So this will be taken care in this video. So I'll be showing you how to do that, and for that we will be using something called as mount points. I'll be sharing that to you. And next also I'll be sharing you how to use run command in Modal to get the files from the internet by using wget. So those commands are Linux commands. How to run those commands inside Modal, and how to get the necessary information. I'll be sharing the code for that. And second, the next point I'll be discussing with you guys is about the how to sync the model. So once this model is downloaded, you need to tell inside the Modal cloud where is the model. So it is difficult for us to visualize these things when when the things are getting abstracted. This is one of the challenges that I want to help you guys to overcome. That is, as the level of abstraction starts increasing, you have to have more basic knowledge, not advanced knowledge. So I'm again repeating it. As the abstraction level of this world increases, or the programming language increases, then you have to learn more of the basics. You don't need to learn the advanced concepts. So I'll be sharing you how the Linux runs the commands. So you need to understand how the Linux, if you are having a direct Linux machine, how it will run. The same thing, only the actual abstract primitives that operates the Modal cloud will run it. So you don't need to actually learn those things. If you know how the regular Linux machine will use wget, curl, how it will use pwd, how it will use cd, cp. If you know these commands, then you can use that and you can work with the cloud implementations in a very, very simple fashion. I'll be showing you that to you guys in a couple of minutes. So that is the key point I wanted to show it, share it here. And second most important point is creating installation. So if you want to install any kind of application inside the cloud, you have to use something called as inside the Linux environment, not the cloud. I'm talking about Linux environment. You need to use apt install, or you have to use rpm install, depending on the operating system, that is. In case of Modal Client, they use basically Debian based operating system. They call it as Debian Slim, and it is really efficient. And this particular Debian based operating system is the only image that is available currently. So keep that in mind. You can find all this information in Modal documentation. I'm just sharing it to you because I have already gone through this. I have seen all the challenges, and I'm sharing it to you as a single, in a single go. That particular Debian environment will need apt install. So inside Modal, there is something called as run command, and there is something called as apt install, and there is something called as pip install. We will be seeing all these things in this video. So you don't need to worry about it. The code is already available for you guys to download and check it out. So as I always say, I believe that you like this content, and I am going to also think that you guys are, I am also thinking that you will have a lot of challenges if you are going to work with this kind of a code. And I want you guys to face that challenge. See, at the end of the day, it's not about, working on the examples that is already provided. You have to break the examples, as I always say. And these examples, I have taken something that I have, found in the internet, and I have converted it for my usage. Like for an example, the PrivateGPT was used for local execution. I converted it to Modal cloud execution. And then again, Langchain Q&A, this particular code was part of the Modal example. So that used OpenAI language model, and it was again for local execution, local environment execution. So I changed it to VertexAI, and then I have converted it to Modal cloud environment execution. So these are some of the examples that I want you guys to also think about. You might have some other cloud service that you want to implement with, or it could be your own setup which you are having in your office or in your house that you want to play with. Or in fact, if you want to run this particular code inside your smartphone, how can you do that? Actually, you can do. So there is something called as Termux. If you guys are aware, if you are having Android, then you can run Termux inside your Android operating system, and you can actually run this code inside your Android environment also. So you can try that out, and I'll be glad to see some of you guys coming up with some good videos or good shots. It will be wonderful to share it with others. With that said, all these things, as I was explaining, run command, apt install methods, stub is inside. All these methods I'll be sharing with you guys as I run through this code. I'm going to run through the code because it is going to be difficult for you guys to follow, because I have not written up anything. So I'm going to explain this as the code goes along, and by the time you set up everything, or again, this is all done based on Modal implementation, but again, you can change all of these things for your local implementation also. There is nothing stopping you. Okay, I'll be explaining each and every step. So you have to just follow it, and wherever you're facing any problem, just come back to the video or run the video in parallel and do the changes in the parallel window or parallel monitor. In that way, you can check the video and your status side by side. That will be very helpful. So with that said, I believe you like this content. Do leave a like and share it with others, and subscribe to my channel for further updates on similar kind of challenges, and also a lot of discussion on artificial intelligence, large language models, and the overall ecosystem, open source ecosystem around Python. Now, let us move to the browser. So here you see, this is the PrivateGPT that has been implemented by I. Martinez. Thanks to I. Martinez, a huge shout out. And he has implemented that based on GPT for all Groovy model. And he uses a couple of other models also. So he has used Llama CPP, and he has pulled, if you take a look at this code, he has used Hugging Face embedding also. So you see here, you see Hugging Face embedding. So he has used a lot of these things. But what I've done is I have not used any of these things. I have only decided to use the GPT for all model, and I want to simply implement this particular step where the LLM is getting initiated, and I am giving a query to the LLM. I am not doing any of these things. Okay, this is all from iMartinez. I will show my code in a couple of minutes, and all I am trying to do is create this LLM and then query this LLM. That's it. That is what you see as output in my particular code. So you see, I have simplified it to the maximum level, but at the code level, I have simplified it to the maximum possible use case. But the execution environment is as complex as possible. So execution environment is in the cloud. It is completely abstracted by Modal, and learning Modal is taking the front stage. Okay, this is one of the examples of PrivateGPT, right? This is the repo. You can actually take a look at this repo. And the other thing that the Langchain. So the question answering with Langchain is actually an example that is provided by Modal team. You can find it out in their docs. If you click on the docs, if you come here, if you scroll it down, you can actually find the question answering with Langchain. So here you see it is all about OpenAI. I had to completely change it. So I removed OpenAI, installed VertexAI, and instead of FICE, so if you go down, you will see that they use FICE index. So I have removed FICE and put ChromaDB there. And also one more thing, I am not doing any of the embedding on the go. So I already have an embedding database. I'm just using that database and I'm going to query it. So all these things, if you take a look at it, if you go to the repo that I will be sharing, this is my repo. So this is inside builder my repo, and if you go into exploring Modal, inside that you will find two scripts. So you will find Modal PrivateGPT and you will find Modal Langchain. So these two scripts are what makes the actual code run. So let me go to the terminal. So you see these two output that you see here. This output is from PrivateGPT. So if I this code model_privategpt.py query, and this at the bottom you see that this is model_langchain.py query, and what is the agent. So these are the two scripts that I am going to discuss right now. Okay, now the stage is set, right? So we know what we are going to do and what we are what we are going to explain. So let us start with the easiest. So the easiest in this case will be to work with PrivateGPT. Okay, PrivateGPT has a very less number of moving parts. So let me start with that, and I can introduce a couple of concepts in PrivateGPT as well as in Modal. First and foremost, the first idea that I want to share is when you are going to practice with Modal. There is actually you will be given almost $10 to $30 free credit. Okay, and make a good use of it, because they are giving you hardware resource. Think about it. One of the major bottleneck for democratizing artificial intelligence or large language model today is hardware resource. It's not technical knowledge. It's not about data. It is about hardware resource. Data can be cooked. You can actually cook your own data. There are ways to do it. So if you are new, if you are new to all this concepts of large language model, natural language, etc., there is a way to cook your own data. So if you can take this particular video inside the playlist, inside this particular playlist in my channel, you can actually take your own data and you can start creating data sets using TXT-AI. It is possible. And I have various other discussions on transformers, Hugging Face transformers, Hugging Face tasks and models. So this particular playlist has got tons of information about open source models, open source libraries, the concepts around it. Now, all these things are fine, but if you take a look at all these videos, I would have explained everything using Collab Notebook. And the Collab Notebook, one of the major challenges that you cannot have access to a terminal. You can have access to a Jupyter notebook, but not to a terminal. And if you are not having access to terminal, then you will not be able to do a lot of things like running a script, creating a web interface, creating a kind of a web client or fast API. You can actually create API endpoints from Google Colab. It has to take it will take some kind of hacking, but you can do it. It's not difficult. Even a couple of my videos I discussed that also. But the point here is there are lots of information. The models are also available. It is open source. But the challenge for most of us who are watching could be hardware resource. You may not have a GPU. You may not have a CPU that is fast enough. You may not have the RAM that is strong enough. Like in my case, I have just a 4 GB of RAM. It may not be sufficient. So all those kinds of challenges can be solved by Modal, right? And on top of all this, Modal actually abstracts everything that you need to learn about cloud computing. So that is one of the key point. I'm really in one side I'm a little afraid that a lot of knowledge about how the underlying systems work will not be available for many of the newcomers. But on the other side, I'm happy that I don't need to do a lot of typing and configuring and struggling with networking issues and errors. So yeah, I am having a divided thought process about Modal, but that is secondary. Coming to the discussion that we are having right now, that you can actually do a lot of stuff inside Modal without even thinking, without even worrying about whether it will work or not. All you need to do is, okay, I have an idea, let me execute it. So that is the scenario that you can get from Modal. So let me come back. So it was a digression, sorry about that. Here you see that first and foremost, this particular sentence, this particular syntax starts by creating a Debian Slim. This is the image, or this is the operating system that is getting allocated. And after the operating system is getting allocated, this is considered as an image. So basically they are internally, Modal is creating a kind of a Docker image or an instance or a virtual instance, and it is allocating it to us. And once that instance is allocated to us, you can do a pip install. This is a regular pip install that you do with Python. You do pip install torch, transformers, Langchain, llama CPP for Python, and GPT for all. This is the first step. Okay, and second, you are going to do an apt-get install wget. So this particular Debian Slim comes with bare minimum operating system. So it does not have any of the tools that your Ubuntu or your Linux system might have. So what I mean to say is, let me show it in a moment. Let us go to the terminal. So you see that if I type man wget, if I type man wget, what will happen in the Linux system is that you will see that the help file for GNU wget will be available, the non-interactive network downloader, and you will see that you can actually use that for your purpose. Okay, but when you do that inside the Debian Slim, that is the operating system that is provided by Modal, you will not be able to do this because the wget itself is not installed there. This I found out pretty late after I tried it a couple of times. Then I realized, okay, wget is not there. So after that, there is some method called as apt install, and you can install any of the software that you want to have it in the operating system that is inside Modal Cloud. If you want these operating system softwares, you can do that. So this is one of the method, and the third is the run command. So you see here I am creating a directory called as model path. This is make directory. This is all simple Linux commands. Okay, if you know Linux, then this is what I was talking about. This is actually an abstraction of Python installation. This is abstraction of Linux software installation, and this is abstraction of Linux commands. And all this, instead of you have to learn these things. If you go to the documentation of Modal, you will actually see that they have clear explanation of all this. If you go to the reference here, and if you scroll down, you will have all the necessary information here. So whatever is there, if you click on modal.image, you will see that the methods that is coming along with this image will be available. So you can take a look at that. What I'm trying to say is that learning from the documentation is one thing, but you have to first of all think how I actually came across all this. First of all, I need to install. My problem is, how will I install these libraries? I need to install it. If I have to run this code, I have to install all this library. So that is my first challenge. So I went and checked, okay, what is a way to install Python libraries inside Modal. So I found, okay, it's simple. I have to just use this particular code, and I can use pip install method, and I can do it. Next problem I faced, okay, how will I install Linux related software? Then I found, okay, there is something called as apt install. And then I was searching, okay, how will I create Linux commands? How will I execute Linux commands inside the Modal provided virtual instance? So you see, it's a series of problems that I faced, or series of challenges I faced. And once I was searching for those challenges, I got the solution. That is how I learned about these things. And also, the reason why I'm talking about all these things to you guys is that it's not about just Modal. Tomorrow it could be any of the new service or new software or new library. The concept of working with these libraries is the same thing, that you have a challenge, you want to solve it, you go to the library, check for the methods and the classes that can solve it, and you will be finding them. And that is how programmers work. This is something that I want to share it. And also, this is one of the side information that I'm giving. So with that said, so we have the image. So we have the image that has the library installed, that has the software installed, that has the setup ready. So here you see I'm getting the GPT model. And once I get the GPT model, I am also checking, I am running pwd to check what is the directory location. So I'm doing that. Once I do that, there is something called as stub underscore is install. So what this code does is, there will be multiple functions. So this is one function that I'm showing here, but there could be multiple functions. So this particular code will ensure that all the functions will have these libraries imported. So basically, it will import retrieval QA, Hugging Face embedding, streaming standard out, and GPT for all. It will import all these things for all the functions. So this is one of the another method that helps you to reduce the typing, okay, or copy pasting. And here comes the function. So this is the function which takes the query. So let me go back to the terminal and show you what the query I mean. The query here is this particular query. So this is the parameter, the argument, and this is the query that will get passed to the to this particular function. So how it will get passed, I will let you know in a couple of minutes. So what I want you guys to observe here is that the model path I have provided here. So this is very important. Why it is important? And you have to provide this slash. This particular slash, if you don't provide, the Modal environment and the Langchain ecosystem, Langchain execution class, this particular class instance will not be able to find this model. So you have to provide the slash. Why is this happening? Because what has happened is, I created so you see here, I created a directory, make directory model path, and then I changed into the directory, and I got this particular model downloaded. And after that, this image is left there, okay? And then I'm executing the code. So when I execute this code, initially I was thinking, okay, my code is executing from inside the model path, inside the folder, but no, it wasn't. So it was not inside the model path, it was just outside the model path. So what was happening is that this particular groovy.bin was right in the root of the directory inside the Linux system, that is Debian Slim system. So this took a little bit of time for me to understand. Okay, I did not read the documentation. So you see that I was facing a problem, and I was trying to visualize that what exactly was happening inside the cloud instance. So this is something that you guys have to start mastering. It's not that I am a master of it, but I'm just giving you one of the strategies that I follow. Next is, once you have the model path fixed, it's very simple. So once you fix the model path, all I need to do is just call this LLM, and this LLM gets initiated. This is GPT for all is Langchain primitive, and then I query the LLM. It's as simple as that, and I return it. So here I call the main function. So this particular function, as I explained in the doc query, takes the query and generates the output, and here I am calling the generate function, this particular function. So you see what is happening, that the query that I am providing, this particular query is the query that I am providing in this location. So this particular query with the parameter is what is going there. And then what is happening is the answer gets returned and assigned to this res variable, and you see the result printed out. So here you see the result is printed out twice. Okay, the result is printed out twice because the GPT for all model, the class itself actually prints it internally. Okay, that's why you see it twice, and that is also one of the benefits. So you can see what is going on, and that's the first part. So you see that by using the PrivateGPT, the basic PrivateGPT model, that is GPT for all model, I was able to explain to you couple of information regarding the run command, regarding the apt install method, regarding the stub is inside, etc. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to see how to load the data that is inside your local hard disk and map it with the cloud instance, the cloud Debian Slim instance that I was talking about, how to do that. Okay, so why I am sharing this particular idea is that I had this challenge. So the challenge that I was facing is, let me go to the browser. Okay, let me go to the browser and let me explain to you. If you go to the explore modal path, you will see there is something called as lc document_db. If you click on that, inside that you will find the chroma instance. So this is the Parquet file, and inside this is the index database. This contains already the embedded documents as well as the embedding vectors. It is already available. And what you will do, so if you are going to use this particular repo, what you will do is you will go to the browser, okay, and inside, you will go to the terminal, and inside the terminal you will do this. You will say git clone, and you will give the, let me go back to the browser, let me go to this particular repo, and what you will basically do is you will take the excuse me, you will take this particular SSH HTTPS link, copy this, come to terminal, and inside the terminal you will paste like this, and you will clone this repo. Once you clone this repo, what will happen is all the document, all the directory tree will get downloaded to your local machine. And once you do an ls, you will see okay, so here it's little unclear. So you see the lc_document_db is available here, and if I do an ls of lc_document_db, the same thing that you saw in the inside the browser, the same thing that you see here, let me go back. So the same thing you see here will be available inside the terminal, right? Yeah, you are seeing this additionally. I will explain to you in a minute what this is all about. Now what I want to do is, instead of actually copying all these Parquet files and this index into the Modal cloud environment, I want to create a mapping where Modal cloud environment can see my local drive where the code is getting executed. So for an example, the code is going to be executed here. So it is going to be executed inside the exploring modal library. So inside the exploring modal library, I have, so as I explained already, I have this lc document_db, and inside this I have my chroma files. So this files, right? All I wanted to do is, once I execute this code, I want the code to tell to Modal cloud instance that I want to tell to the Modal execution environment that, see, I already have the ChromaDB here inside this folder, use that ChromaDB. And also I need to tell that if you want the credentials, Google VertexAI credentials, then refer to this file. So I want to tell these things, two things to the Modal modal instance. And that is the challenge. Okay, and we are going to see how it is getting solved in a couple of minutes. Let us go to the browser. And now we are going to see, I have explained to you the challenge, right? I have shown you what I have done. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you the code. So where is the code? Let me, close this. Let me come here. Here's the code. I'm going to show you the code right now. And this is a pretty simple code. If you guys have been following my Langchain related library, Langchain related playlist, then you must, and if you're practiced, then you must be able to do most of these things without even thinking. Okay, so here this is the code. It starts and I'm creating an image, and this time I'm just using pip install and I'm installing various libraries that is required. As I was telling you, I'll be using Google Cloud AI platform and I'll be using Google Auth. I already have FAIS also, so I was initially trying to think of using FAIS. Then I realized I have Chroma database already available with me, so I decided to go with ChromaDB. So that is how I ended up with all this library. So you know why I have created this right now. And here is the stuff that I am creating. And this is the basic. Okay, this particular function you don't need to worry about. I just copied it from the documentation. So where is the documentation? Let me go back. Just give me a moment. Yeah, this is, I copied this example, and if I'm not going to explain you this example, it is already explained here. There are a couple of methods or functions I did not use that is shown in this example. So this is that function that I copied. You don't need to worry about that. Let me, it is already, let me close this, sorry. So again, you see this stub is inside, so I am importing all this classes. So you see VertexAI embedding, I am importing the VertexAI class, and I'm using this load QA with sources chain. Recursive, so this is not required actually, but if you are going to use it for embedding the new documents, then you can try this. And I'm importing chroma vector store. And then here is the function that is going to do the heavy lifting. Okay, so this function is going to take two things. It is going to take the query, and it is going to take the vector DB, that is the chroma database. Okay, and it is going to do the similarity search. It is going to send it to the QA chain. It is then going to return you the answer. So the answer that you see here, so let me go back, let me execute. Okay, let me give a different, can you tell me about Langchain chains? So I'm going to ask something different right now, and let me show you the output, so that there might be an output or there may not be an output. So let us see what happens right now. So what is happening right now is that it is internally connecting with the ChromaDB that is already available in this particular folder, LC document DB, and then it is searching the similar documents. It is handing it over to the VertexAI large language model, and then it is giving me the reply. All these things, it is happening as this code is getting executed, and I am explaining it to you. And the reason why I am running this code right now is to show you that what exactly happens. So this particular query, right, this parameter goes into, okay, let it run. This parameter goes into, this parameter goes here, and it goes here, and then it connects with the vector DB and starts doing all this stuff. In order to start this process, there is something, this is the main function. So this is the function that gets called when I run this query. So the app is completed, and you see a chain is a Langchain made of links, which can either be primitives like LLMs or other chains. So it says it has come from the quick start guide. So we have got an answer. And you see it is generating the doc search indexer. It is actually not generating. This is basically, connecting with the doc search indexer, that is a ChromaDB, and it is selecting the text parts, and it is querying it. So all these three steps, I'll be showing it to you in the code right now, and how the output is coming. So let us go dive into the code. Let us go to the browser. So here you see that the query that I sent is coming and hitting this particular function, CLI function, and it starts generating the doc search indexer. So you saw this is the first This is the first print statement that you got here. So you saw that this particular print statement, it comes from here. And then in order for this to print, first of all, this particular function has to execute. So here is the actual magic. So the search, the location, the path of the ChromaDB is here. So you see, this is the full path of the ChromaDB in my local machine. So I'm giving the full path and I'm mapping that full path to the remote, this particular path, root lc document db. Okay. And when I'm actually also in the same location, inside this particular location, I already have placed. So let me go back. I have already placed one of the, sorry, I have to do an ls lcdb. So I have placed the JSON file. Let me do this. So I have placed this JSON file. This is actually the VertexAI security accounts credential. So if you are new to VertexAI security account, GCP, etc., there are already videos I have made that can help you to understand this. Okay, so I'll be linking those videos along with this video. Take a look at that. This particular, all this, the Chroma database, the credentials, everything is inside LC document DB, and this particular folder has been mapped to root LC document DB. Okay, and when I am calling this particular query, this particular function, this function is going to be executed inside this particular image, Debian Slim image, which is in the Modal cloud, and it will already contain, so this will already have the link to this particular JSON file. So I am assigning that, and also it will have the connection to this LC document DB folder, which contains the Chroma database, the embedding database. So this is how the embedding database gets instantiated, to be correct. So this is how it gets instantiated, and after it gets instantiated, I decided that okay, let me send the query that I get and the database, the doc search database that I instantiated to Q&A Langchain function, and this function will get called, and this function will do everything. This function is going to be called again inside the Debian Slim image. Keep this in mind. It is going to do everything inside the image, not in my local environment, because obviously everything has been moved to the image at this moment when I call this particular function. So nothing is in my local environment. So this is the internal working. So I believe that by now you must have got a very deep understanding of what is actually happening. Not just with Modal library, what is happening in Langchain when you are trying to instantiate the ChromaDB, what is happening when you are trying to use the embeddings that is already available. All these ideas you must have, it must have sparked in your mind that okay, so this is what is happening. And along with that, you also learned about creating local directory mounting inside Modal. You also understood whether cloud and local, it is still Linux. Whether it is going to be cloud, the Linux commands are not going to change, and Python is going to be still Python. You are going to do still pip install. You are going to still work with the same primitives. It's not going to change. Only thing is that you need to understand cloud environment and your local Linux environment is not different at all. Only difference is that in the cloud you will be connecting to the machine that is hosted elsewhere. Okay, and with Modal, I still don't know where it is hosted. Okay, so when I read the Modal documentation, I found that some of their instances are in GCP and most of their instances are with them only. So that's what I learned. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things will change in the future. So this is the scenario. So you have learned about this. Also, you saw how you can run your open source models like GPT for all, that too a small model inside Modal environment, and actually without any cost. So you are not using any GPUs here. You are not using any kind of high cost resource. You are using a simple CPU that has been provided by Modal team. The cost of the CPU run is very, very minimal. I think I know the cost. I can share you the cost also. Just a moment. I think if you go to the Modal homepage, and if you take a look at, if you scroll down, you can see the price. Yeah, this is the price that they offer for per core per second for GPU, CPU, and the memory. So you can take a look at the complete pricing. You can they have a very good starter pack. Do take a look. The reason I see Modal, and I was introduced to Modal just 2-3 days back by one of our subscribers, and I'm really grateful, because one of the key things that I learned is that I can do a lot of things inside Modal, and I can teach. I can share my knowledge about Langchain, about VertexAI, about ChromaDB, about various things, about Linux, with just one particular concept called, one particular library called as Modal Client. So that is one of the key advantages I have. And when you are looking at the applications as a whole, when you connect multiple things, when you connect Langchain, when you connect VertexAI, when you connect Linux, Python, everything, then you will see how things are actually working as a system. That is very important. And when you understand these things, and when you try to do a integration testing or integration kind of analysis, then you will have more information to talk about. You will have more experience to back you when you are trying to explain something to someone. So these are the key takeaways that you have got from this particular video, I believe. So do leave a comment. Do let me know if you have some challenges that you want me to look at. Do leave a like. I believe that you have learned a thing or two from this video. And the code will be shared with you guys in the description below. Do check it out, and if you have any queries, do let me know. I'll be further trying to update this particular video along with using PrivateGPT, that is GPT for all, and try to connect with Chroma database and retrieve the data from there. So that is one of the next things that I'm thinking about doing. So if you have some other ideas, do let me know in the comments. I'll be staying tuned for that. And with that said, I would like to come to the close of this particular video with 4 words, that is explore, 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 explore. With that said, have a great time, guys. See you.